Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Meet the Creator, where we bring on some special guests to speak about their untold stories and also some really cool things that I've always wanted to know about them. And we have got none other than the man himself in Nub Raids. How's it going, bro?
It's good. It's good. Like, this is where I confess to a whole bunch of crimes I've never been charged for. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. So, what are you getting up to over the Christmas period? This is like our Christmas episode, I guess. You look festive over there in your tree.
Well, it's pretty hectic actually. So we're actually we're spending Christmas Day with my girlfriend's parents and her gran. But neither of us have like houses that are appropriate for this year. Like, they've just moved house and our sitting room isn't finished, so we're gonna rent a house. And I'm cooking Christmas dinner as well. For the first time, I've actually cooked like a full Christmas dinner myself. And it's in like a different house in a kitchen I don't know. So that's going to be a bit stressful. Got most of the shopping done though already. The groceries are done. So fingers crossed it goes well. It's going to be chaos. But we'll eat well at the end, I hope.
If you like, you can disclose where it is, and then all of the viewers can come and, meet you there, and you can cook for hundreds this time.
You know, to be honest, I don't even know where it is.
I don't know.
Kiri booked it, so I don't know. It's like an hour away in the car. That's all I know. It's an hour drive. Yeah, that's it. Could be anywhere.
Wicked. So, all right. I guess to kick off this episode, we're going to dive into a bit of some generic questions, I guess, and get into your origin story and all of that good stuff. So, would you like to let us know how your content creation journey started and where it's kind of at the moment?
Well, it began as just a twinkle in my father's eye. No, how it started. Well, actually, so I'd been like a fan of watching YouTube videos. Like, this was way back in the day when sort of YouTube was sort of starting off almost. Like, I remember watching the original Yogscast, like Minecraft playthrough stuff, and thinking this is the best thing ever. Like, it's funny, you go back and you watch it now, and you're like, this sucks. It's terrible. It's so boring. But I remember, like, I was a big fan of all that sort of stuff back in the day. And it had always been something I'd wanted to do, but never kind of had the time to do or anything like that. I was doing a master's degree. Just didn't really enjoy it, to be honest. I was kind of bored, and sort of that awkward point in life where you're like, oh man, well, I picked this master's degree and I don't even particularly like it. Like, what the heck am I going to do? And at the point where I was supposed to be doing my thesis and focusing on that, I was like, I don't actually really care. Let's do some YouTube. Why not? Let's just start a YouTube channel, give it a go. And yeah, that's how it started. I loved it. I was like, this is actually really fun. I'm actually learning stuff. It's interesting. This feels much more useful than than writing a stupid master's thesis that nobody even cares about anyway. So yeah, that's what I did.
That's interesting. So for anyone that's not aware, actually, because you're known in the Raid Shadow Legends community a lot from the viewers that's probably watching this, but many might not know that you've been doing this for upwards of 8 years, right? Correct me if it's longer. But he's actually got a channel called Nubkeks, which is around 60,000 subscribers and around 27 million views, which is insane. And you kind of covered videos around World of Warcraft and I forgot what the other one is called, if you can...
Heroes of the Storm.
There we go, which I'm not too familiar with. So when did you actually transition into full-time as a creator? Was it from the very start that you was just going all in, or was it like halfway through? What kind of timeline?
Oh gosh, I don't really remember, because it wasn't a thing where I had a full-time job that I had to quit, like, because I was, a student at the time and I didn't have like a full-time job. It was just sort of like, I'll do this for a bit. And yeah, I think after the master's, I was just like, you know what? I'll just give this a go for a while and we'll see how it goes. And like, it went okay. I wasn't making great money or anything. It was pretty terrible, but it was like, you know what? For at least a couple of years, this is something I actually kind of want to just go for and do, because I think it's cool and it's interesting. And yeah, it's like the future is in kind of online, So yeah, I just sort of went for it. And like, I tried a bunch of different stuff, and then I remember doing the Heroes of the Storm videos, and like those actually kind of were taking off and getting some traction, whereas the other stuff wasn't. It was probably absolutely terrible content, like really bad. But the Heroes of the Storm stuff, that got a bit of an audience, and I ended up doing that for a while, and then that game kind of died. I'll be honest, I floundered for a good while trying to figure out what to do, and eventually I started the Raid channel. That became the main focus then. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, for anyone that's not aware as well, I actually watched some of your videos back in the day for World of Warcraft. And when you came into the Raid Shadow Legends scene, I was like, wait a second, that's Nubkeks. Now he's turned into Nub Raids. He took the keks out. So actually,
Mm.
while we're speaking about the name, do you want to let us
Yeah.
know where you got the name Nubkeks from? Where does that stem from?
Well, like there was like an insult back in the day, which is like you're a noob cake or something. And I was like, I took it like that. And I played a lot of World of Warcraft, and LOL in World of Warcraft, if a Horde player said it to an Alliance player, it came across as kek in Orcish. So it's like Nubkeks. The funny thing about it is that keks is the German word for cookies. So I constantly got people asking me, "Hey, are you German?" I'm like, "No. Why do you think I'm German?" Like, "Oh, it's Nubkeks, right? Nub cookies. You get it." So I constantly be mistaken for a German.
I know what to get you for Christmas now. Just a big box of cookies.
I'm like, 9. I'm not a German. 9.
Oh, that's cool, man. So, all right, I'm leading into the next part of this. So, I wanted to ask you, what's your favorite part about content creation? Overall, something that you might, that strives you to get up in the morning and wanted to pursue this every single day, because not everybody hangs around, creating content for this period of time for upwards of nearly a decade. So, what kind of strives you to do this every day? What's your favorite thing?
That's a really hard question.
It's a loaded question, but we got to ask the hard ones. That's a loaded
question. Like, part of it is like I probably wouldn't even know. Like, it's just something I do, Like, I don't even think about it. Yeah, it's just a thing to do. I think I just find probably the process of doing it enjoyable. Like I like sitting down, like with, let's say, the Curse City stuff that's happening. I like sitting down, recording the video and being like, okay, I'm going to go in today and hopefully solve a bunch of these puzzles. And like, that's just sort of satisfying, and sharing it with people and knowing that people will actually find it helpful. Mm-hmm. Like that's pretty rewarding. Yeah. So it's probably that, I guess. But it's tough. It's tough to nail it down.
Yeah. So on the flip side, is there anything that you've overcome as a creator which you might have been struggling with in the past, and now you kind of feel like, oh, I'm pretty happy that I've managed to overcome that, and it's not really a big problem anymore?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. So, like, one of my favorite things on the Raid channel now is my live streams. Right, mm-hmm. I do like maybe a 2-hour live stream every 2 weeks for CVC, and I love that. But like back when I was covering Heroes of the Storm, there was much more of a focus on streaming and constantly streaming. And like for me personally, I'm actually quite shy and introverted, Mm-hmm. Like I just get really tired from that. But I used to rage super hard. And like you might not know from watching my raid videos, because like I don't want to be that kind of person. But man, I used to rage so I was terrible. Super toxic. Yeah, Nub Rage. Doing that. And like I just didn't like that. So I just stopped streaming eventually. I was like, you know what? Like I'm just being an asshole. Like this sucks.
Yeah.
So I just stopped doing that. And I didn't do it. But now I love those streams. So that was definitely a thing. I was like, wanted to be a streamer for a bit. And then I was like, nope, that really does not suit me. I'm not a good person for that.
Yeah.
So I had to stop doing that. So that was definitely,
So where do you think that transition for not really enjoying streaming to now loving it kind of changed? Is it just in Raid, or was it like before that as well?
Pretty much just in Raid. I did stream like Final Fantasy 14 for a while, and I quite enjoyed that too. I think it's sort of not being competitive. I think that was the problem with Heroes of the Storm, was that because it was competitive, it was sort of high pressure. I think that's what brought out the negativity. I think like when it's more chill, just hanging out, playing Raid. Mm-hmm. I find that more enjoyable. Like if I was being super competitive, like probably if I was just streaming live arena, rage more. So that's also why I don't do that as well. Like I'll do short, and I keep it short as well. That helps a ton too. Like it's sort of energy wise, it's sort of exhausting, and you get stressed, you get headaches and all of that from going too long. So I try to do quite short streams.
Yeah, I think we're very similar in that regard. Like I don't tend to stream too much as well. Sometimes I'm like, you feeling it, you're like, yo, I'm loving this stream. But on a consistent basis, it is very stressful. But anyway, leading into this next one, we've got a bit of fun questions now before we go back to the serious stuff, I guess.
Okay.
Have you ever attended any content related events? So whether that be Heroes of the Storm or World of Warcraft, has there ever been like an event that you've been invited to and you found very enjoyable, and the social aspect of it?
Yeah, so a few different things. With like back in the day with Blizzard, I was invited to maybe 3 or 4 BlizzCons. I went to a couple of them. Didn't think they were great, to be honest. So it's sort of a waste of time. So I actually turned down a couple. They're like, we'll pay for your flights and accommodation and tickets and everything, like to travel from Dublin, Ireland to whatever, Los Angeles, California. And I was just like, nah, I don't want to go. Like, I was like, actually, genuinely, I'll have more fun, and I can also make better content on this just playing from home. And it's sort of doubly so because nearly all my friends from the game were like European, so they weren't going anyway. So yeah, it wasn't. That was sort of like a thing I was invited to. That's kind of I was invited to, which was kind of cool as well. There was like a thing for Heroes of the Storm like ages ago when they first brought Overwatch characters to Heroes of the Storm. It's like Heroes of the Storm 2.0, like a new monetization scheme, basically. But I was invited to an event in Paris for that, which was cool. So I got to go to Paris, which is lovely. But yeah, that was quite fun because again, I knew a few of the creators at that one that I'd sort of talked to or knew. I know they're sort of showing us a whole bunch of previews about what was coming in the game, and we got to play test a bunch of stuff. So that was actually substantial and useful. We got to like record footage and then make videos of it like back at home with the footage we recorded. So that was actually a really good event. I enjoyed that one. And then of course, for Raid, not being invited by like Plarium to anything, like any event or to go anywhere. I actually was in Poland on a holiday, and I didn't realize they've got an office in Poland. Mm-hmm. And like Deadwood was there about a month later, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I went to visit." Like I just asked, and they were delighted. I was like, "Oh, I was there. I was in Warsaw, dude. I should have gone. I didn't know, so I missed out there." But I got to meet up with obviously yourself and a lot of the other CCs in London as well. Yeah, that was really fun too. That's the most fun event socially because like that's where I know people the best. We've got the most in common, and also just overall, just basically everyone's a really cool person in the group. So that was definitely socially miles away. Like it's not even a comparison. Like it's so much better. That was the best event. Yeah.
No, it was kind of surreal. Like even now that I'm thinking back on it, it was really cool because it wasn't corporation driven, right? It was kind of a bunch of friends that we worked alongside for so many years coming together, and it was amazing, man.
Yeah,
love to do it again.
Yes.
So, all right, this one's controversial. Okay. Best TV show of all time, and also the best movie of all time, in your opinion.
Oh, that's tricky. Oof, best TV show. Oh man, like Game of Thrones was phenomenal. It ended badly, but a lot of it was really, really good. That has to be way up there. My girlfriend was rewatching Friends recently. I just watched some episodes and I was like, man, that's just a great show as well. Like that's just a great comedy. And that was like I was big into that when I was like a teenage, like young, a kid.
Yeah.
So that's kind of up there as well, which is weird. TV show, yeah, that's tough. I'd pick Game of Thrones probably as being like, okay, I think overall that's probably the best. Okay. And then for movie, I'd probably pick the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Oh, Saf's going to be happy with you on that one.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so it's 3 movies in one, but I saw 20 years old now or something like that.
Yeah,
but visually, like they look so good. They look better than most modern movies. Just the production, just everything about it. Mm-hmm. It's just quite special, really.
So do you know what? Leading off a little bit off that, so you said you love Lord of the Rings, and obviously we're in the gaming space. What was your favorite Lord of the Rings game of all time?
Ooh, my favorite game of all time.
I'll give you my answers as well. Don't worry.
Yeah. I don't even know the name of it, but like it was one of the ones I on PS2.
I think it's the same one. Is it?
It might be, yeah.
Is it the Two Towers on PS2?
It might be the Two Towers. Yeah, I just remember playing it with friends and like being Gimli and jumping around like an idiot. Yeah, that one was pretty good.
If they remade that into like the Common Age, I swear you would not see me for a month. That game took up too much time. And do you know what the worst part of it was? I think I didn't have like my memory card at the time, so I had to keep playing the game from the start.
That's not the worst thing.
It wasn't the worst thing. I enjoyed it. It was like, oh, who do I start with this time? So.
Yeah.
I'd say like my favorite TV show would be Prison Break. Is probably.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah. I enjoyed that.
I actually just finished watching it for the 3rd time, like full run, start to finish.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I feel like every time I watch it, it just doesn't get boring. But
yeah, that was good. I haven't seen all of it actually. I think I've seen maybe 2 or 3 seasons.
Really?
But yeah, it was good.
Definitely really good. Get onto that again, and then you can message me afterwards. If you need someone, I'll come watch it for a 4th time. I'm staying over that. So, all right, you've spoken a bit about travel and potentially going to places for BlizzCon and, went to Paris and stuff. If you could travel anywhere in the world, what would be your dream destination?
Well, we're actually planning a trip to Japan next year, so
Ooh,
that's like way up there. Yeah, that's
okay.
like somewhere that we really want to go, and like that's a huge trip, right? Going from Ireland to Japan, it's really expensive, right? Being a self-employed content creator, it's really expensive as well to miss out on work for basically a month. Like, so that's a massive trip. It's sort of a once, maybe twice in a lifetime type thing. So really looking forward to that. And like it's just so different. There's so much to see, there's so much culture and everything. So yeah, that one really, really, yeah, that's my number one, I'd say. Gonna go do it. So there you go. That's something for me to look forward
That
to.
sounds cool. I'll fit in your suitcase. I'll come along.
Yeah. Hey, we're bringing like an extra suitcase, but we're planning to bring stuff back, so we can bring you there, and we'll just leave you behind. It's fine. You can just live in Japan.
I wouldn't mind. But all right, we've been friends for a long time. I'd say you're one of my closest friends in this space over the years. But one thing that I don't know about you is what you like to do a lot in your spare time in terms of, hobbies, maybe your top 3 hobbies that people might not know about you, I guess.
Oh, gee. This is where I'm very boring.
Staying at home, making videos, guys.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. That's a lot. Stay home, make videos.
This is why I struggled to know about your hobbies. I was like, wait a second. If I was to go and meet Nubs, right, what's something that I could be like, yo, let's go do this, because you like doing that. So.
No, I just sort of stay at home. No, leave the house as little as possible.
Give us one then. Something outside that you just really like to do on occasions.
Well, I do like to walk the dog. Like we like walking the dog. So I like going out to like even the woods or something, or out for a river walk. Like actually getting out into like proper countryside with the dog. That's really nice. Yeah. So I do like that. So we try to do that usually most weekends to get her out for a proper walk somewhere. Because like I walk her every day, like around the estate, or like there's GAA like football pitches nearby, so we can walk her there. But it's not the same. It's like getting actually out to nature, which is good. So I like that, and it's easy to spend like just a couple of hours without even realizing. Just just chilling, just getting away from it all, which is nice for being someone that's so terminally online. Really, I would say quite a lot. But I like that. I like to cook. Yeah, I play games that I don't do videos on as well, like just for fun. Like I've been playing a good bit of Warcraft Rumble on my phone. That's a pretty fun one.
You've been enjoying that?
Yeah, I have been. Yeah, just like again, as quite a casual thing to just play for fun without really caring. And yeah, I like watching YouTube videos about stuff as well, random stuff. And I like to read. I read quite a bit too. So yeah. Those things.
That's something that I should be doing.
Excitement.
I should be taking some long walks and stuff. I wish I could take your advice there. It sounds really refreshing. So actually, you were just mentioning gaming and other things that you play, and that kind of leads us into the next question.
Yeah.
One of my favorite consoles of all time was PlayStation 1, but feel free to change to another console if you feel like there was something in your earlier days that you enjoyed. I was going to ask you, what was your favorite game of all time on the PlayStation 1? Because that was the start of that saga, right?
Oh, dude, I was a Nintendo kid. I was a Nintendo kid, yeah.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Nintendo, whatever's your cup of tea.
Yeah. Well, probably the big console from my childhood was probably the GameCube. Like, because I was in that on like almost day one, man. I got it with like the Metroid Prime bundle. Love that. Probably my favorite game on GameCube overall was probably a toss-up between like Smash Bros. Melee and Zelda Wind Waker. Love that. So good. And I played a lot of N64 as well before that as well, which is what I got. Originally got into gaming I was really, really sick when I was a kid. And my cousins lent me their Nintendo 64 to play it. I think Mario Kart was on it. So I got to play that for a couple of days before going into the hospital.
Oh, no.
So, but yeah, that was like, okay, that sort of broke, because my parents were quite against the whole video game thing. They didn't want to have any of that stuff. And yeah, that sort of broke the ice, I guess. And so I'm like, okay, sure. Well, I guess we'll let you have a game console. That's okay. You can get that. It's not so bad.
Loads of people have embarrassing moments in their content creation. I actually had a guest on before that said that he was trying to record a video, I believe, but he went live on a stream instead, and he was trying to do all of that sounded like pretty brutal. So has anything like that happened to you? So, I don't know, you maybe forgot to cut something out from a video, or I don't know, you had something in your hair, I don't know, something that you just thought, oh, damn, that was embarrassing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you do stupid stuff with editing like that all the time, right? Yeah. All the time. Like, I've definitely put up videos, because you can be talking and really animated, then you're like, okay, I'm going to cut this. And then you're sitting and you're like just sort of staring off, you're like typing and really depressed. I've definitely done that before. I left in like 20 minutes of me just like thinking about stuff, scratching my nose, picking my nose, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
dumb stuff like that. So I've done that. Look at it. I haven't done anything super bad. So yeah, nothing like that. There's always that fear though, because like the I know what you mean. Like the go live button is
Yeah.
literally right beside the start recording button. So that is always a massive fear is that you would click that by accident without realizing. I've done it before, but turned it off straight away.
Yeah.
And like sometimes you get messages being like, your channel went live for 2 seconds. Like, are you okay? What's happening? And you're like, I just clicked the wrong button. It's fine.
So you mentioned earlier that you actually had we was doing a degree, right? Did you mention what it was again?
I didn't say, no. My undergraduate degree is in religion, history, and education.
Okay.
And then my master's degree is in philosophy and public policy. So I don't really use any of that stuff. The education stuff, I guess, which was ironically by far the worst taught part of the degree.
Yeah.
That's probably the bit that I guess gets used the most in making videos, but the rest not. Yeah, the rest is basically
yeah. No, I was gonna ask you, like, if you wasn't gonna be a creator, is that a field of work that you would have kind of went into instead, or was there like another path that you would have loved to take?
That's like when I picked my college course, that was the plan, right? Was I'm gonna be a teacher. This is gonna be great. And then when I got to the end of it, I kind of felt like, actually, no, I don't want to do this anymore, which is then that really awkward spot where you're like, yeah, well, shit, I just did 4 years training to be a teacher, basically, and I don't even want to do it. It's always been a plan B, right? Because content creation is such an unstable career path.
Yeah.
It's always been like that. That was always like kind of a backup plan that I could do, but I feel like that's also sort of risky in the sense to be a teacher. I feel like you have to want to do it. Like I don't know. I just wouldn't want to do a job that I wouldn't want to do. So like if content creation fell through suddenly, I don't think I'd go into that now. Honestly, I'd go into something else. I'm not sure what I would do, but I wouldn't go into teaching in a school. Like that was part of why I started on YouTube anyway. I was kind of like, why sit in front of like 30 kids in a classroom, like talking to 30 people when I can, like even on a small channel, make a video and speak to like maybe hundreds of people or more, right? Nowadays, it's obviously more, but like you could just actually communicate with so many more people online. That just seems more useful to me.
I think I'm gonna go on in like 10 years. I'm gonna try and learn something in one of your courses, and you're gonna be my online teacher.
You imagine?
I'm like, it's Nubs, and I'll be there old and grey.
We'll both be old and grey.
So, what is your biggest fear ever? Like for me, wasps and bumblebees, can't stand them. You'll see me running a mile. What's your biggest fear?
Probably fear of heights. I'm quite scared of heights and like jumping over things and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what freaks me out. Also, unfortunately, I've got, which is hilarious, I'm also sort of scared of like needles and injections. But like right now, I've got to get a blood test every week. Someone like a particular medicine, like it's going fine and everything like that. But it's like every time you go in, it's really embarrassing. You have to be like, sorry, could I lie down for this, like in case I faint? You feel like such a wimp, you know. But hey, it is what it is. But yeah, all that stuff freaks me out.
I agree. Like needles, right? I'm gonna have to go take my kids for their blood tests and stuff. And they're like, "Oh, Dad, can you just like pop them on your lap and hold them like this?" And I'm like,
"You're freaking out."
It's me freaking out. I'm the one like looking away from the needle. Yeah, it's weird. Like, do you like going? Because for me, I'm scared of heights when I'm on like top of a building. Do you know it's like I don't know, like a rooftop or something, and someone's looking down, like those crazy shorts videos where people are leaning over with their legs and stuff. But for me, like I could still go on a roller coaster very high and it doesn't affect me. Do you feel like do you feel like it's the safety factor that causes that? Like, oh, like the wind could push me over here, but you feel like if you're constrained, you could do it.
No, I'm pretty scared of the roller coaster going up high as well. Absolutely, but definitely. Yeah, the safety thing is a huge thing. Like, yeah, if you're up somewhere and like it's windy, or if the safety railing is quite low, and you're like, man, if I hit that, I could totally fall over that.
And you're looking behind you like it's someone pushed you or something. Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, anything like that. Oh, it's horrifying. The funny thing is, like, you could walk along like a little path. Like, if you imagine walking along a little footpath, right? It's not scary beside the road. You're like, that's totally fine. But like, if the road wasn't there, if it was a bottomless pit, it would be absolutely terrifying. Like, I could fall in, I could die. This is But like, I could walk along it just fine though, if there's no drop there, but if there was,
Yeah.
I'd be completely incompetent. I'd be a
Yeah, because
quivering
sometimes
mess.
I watch there's like a YouTuber I believe called Nightscape, and he kind
Yeah.
of climbs all these crazy tall like buildings. And do you know, because he's got like the GoPro or something on his head and you get like what he's
Hmm.
seeing? I'm like, there is no way on earth you'll catch me even halfway up that building. It's nuts, man. But all right
Hmm.
then. Just to kind of wrap up here, we got two questions, including one special one at the ends.
Okay.
Where
Okay.
do you see yourself in 5 years, and what advice do you have for any aspiring content creators coming up?
Oh wow. Okay. Oh my god. In 5 years, I really don't know. Like, will Raid still be around? God, probably not. But who the heck knows? That's a tough question. I think I've been doing Raid now for 2 years, and
Hmm.
that's been like basically the full time thing the whole way through. So I actually don't know, and like that's a dangerous thing, I suppose. Like that's in terms of content creation, that it is an unstable career path, right? Like compared to teaching, like because I got part of why I got into teaching as well is my parents were teachers. But like in Ireland, you work in a school, you can work in the school for your entire career, the same job the whole time,
Hmm.
and that's it. You're done with a pension. Content creation's not like that at all. So I genuinely don't know where I'll be in 5 years. I don't know. And like we're talking about, maybe having a kid. It was funny. We're like, because a lot of people we know now are having kids.
Hmm.
And we're like, my sister's having a kid in February. Like my girlfriend doesn't have any siblings, but a lot of her cousins that she's close to are all having kids, or her friends want to have kids. We're like, do we want to have kids? And we're both kind of like, we don't know. Maybe. So who knows? Maybe in 5 years we might have it, or maybe we won't. Don't know. That's something that we're talking about though anyway.
Hmm.
But yeah, so in terms of work though, I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'd be surprised if I was still doing the exact thing. I'll say that. But who knows, right? Like I kind of stumbled onto Raid in a lot of ways. Maybe I'll stumble onto something again. Like I probably want to do something different. Like I've done some sponsored videos like for Dragonair. I know you're doing them as well at the moment, and that's been quite fun. But
Hmm.
like it's kind of the same thing. Like it's such a similar game. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to. I don't think I'd want to go and do like exactly the same game. Like I might do another mobile game or something else if I had to. But I probably want it to be quite different, just so it's actually fresh and interesting and different.
Hmm.
Just doing the same thing again would be that'd probably be too boring. So I don't know. And what was the other question? I've forgotten.
For any advice that you have for any up and coming creators in the space?
Ooh. Hmm. Yeah, I think to get into content creation, I think it's important. Like I was talking about earlier, with I tried live streaming, and I was like, that really doesn't suit me. You want to find, because it is a very difficult job. It's very demanding. You want to find the stuff that you can do, whatever that is. If it's a type of video, um, find something that you do that you think like you're good at and you're bringing value to other people and that you enjoy doing, and like focus on doing that well. Like don't try to force yourself to be a specific type of content creator, because that's what people you respect. Maybe even like you're like, oh, I want to be that type of content creator. Like if it doesn't fit for you, don't force yourself to do it, because you'll be absolutely miserable and it's not worth it. So yeah, I think that's it. It's sort of like find something that brings people value, but that you enjoy, and in a way it should probably almost be easy for you to do, I think, or like you've got passion. Like it's not something you have to drag yourself out of bed to do. It's like
Yeah.
you're almost going and you're doing it without thinking. In a way, I think that's probably what I would aim for. But it's a long road. It's a tough road. But it can be, maybe as well, don't necessarily make it a career thing. There's a lot of downsides to that. Like it's totally cool, and it might even definitely be best to start it off as like a hobby, as something that you're doing for fun. That can make things more fun as well. Like when you make something serious, it can become more stressful. So there can be a lot of value in doing things more casually and doing something wacky. I don't know, like I was at a jazz thing recently, and it's like these guys, they're just touring. They're not making any money, right? But having fun making jazz music. There's not much money in it for them in Ireland, but it's something they've got a passion in, and like they're good at it. And, like that's pretty cool. So it could be something like that too.
Yeah, that's great. It's actually
There you
cool.
go.
It's actually very interesting because for anyone that's not aware as well, like I'm not sure if it was strategic from you, but I thought I'd just ask you here, leading off
Oh
that.
yeah.
When you came into Raid, I kind of you was aware of this because I came into your Discord very early when you was at like
Hmm.
200 subs or something. But did you strategically know you was gonna go for the Hydra boss to blow up? Because obviously
No.
finding a niche within a niche is sometimes the reason what can catapult you, right? And that for your instance, it was the Hydra boss. So that wasn't planned whatsoever? You just decided and it worked,
No.
right?
No, it was just really lucky, right? Like I've been playing Raid for about a year and like watching the content creators and all that sort of stuff, and like it got to the point where I was like, okay, I feel like I know, and that's sort of awkward for me for picking if I was to switch game.
Mhm.
It's tough for me to jump in and make content creation videos, like telling people what to do when like I'm just making shit up. That doesn't
Yeah.
sit well with me. But like with Raid, I've been playing it for a year, so I actually know this stuff really well, and I feel like I've got a lot of at least I thought I would have a lot of useful information to give people and a different take and a fresh perspective. So I felt like I could make something that was really good doing it. And it just happened to fall at a time when Hydra came out and it was the new thing. And yeah, it was just lucky. Like it definitely wasn't planned.
Mhm.
It was just yeah, I dove in, and I was also lucky that the other content creators just didn't really seem to like it, and
Mhm.
they weren't really doing content on it. So the videos that I put out just took off and it catapulted the channel, and that's how I got going, really. But it was just very lucky, very very lucky. Yeah, I mean that's just
I wouldn't say it's
like some
just to throw in there a little bit. I don't think it was all luck. I think like you've got one of the best
yeah
personalities in this space. Like even if I didn't know you, I'd still be watching your videos, and I'm sure that's why many people are subscribed, right? Because they
yeah
just enjoy your personality and stuff, and that's what kind of
yeah.
plays over the years. So I guess
Hmm.
last but not least, there's a thing that we like to do on these series with the Meet the Creator, and I had a special
Okay,
guest called Mr. HellHades last time, and in this
okay.
segment. My previous guest had to ask the next guest, but they didn't know who it was, a question.
Oh yeah, okay.
The question from Hell Hades was, what is your celebrity crush?
Oh, celebrity crush. It's probably Scarlett Johansson. She's
Okay.
yeah, let's go with Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, there you go.
Everyone's sticking with the marbles.
Yeah, oh, I guess her yeah, she's probably most well known.
Yeah. Well,
But
what did you like her for then, Nubs?
yeah, no, I mean, that Black Panther. What is she wearing? I don't even know the character called in it. You don't need to know her name. It's all about the looks with women, eh?
Yeah,
Oh,
God. So, all right. So, for the next guest now, of course, we're going to do the same thing. I'll tell them it's from Mr. Nubkeks.
yeah.
What's a question that you've got for somebody out there?
Okay. I'm going to stick with a similar theme, which
Okay.
is let's go with what is, you think, objectively speaking, the most attractive video game character?
Ooh,
Objectively.
objectively. All right, then.
Yeah.
Well,
It's getting serious.
I'm starting to think it up myself now. I'm scared. But yeah, all right, guys. That's been myself and the amazing guest in a Nubkeks, Nub Raids, whatever you want to call it, Mr. Nubby, all of the above.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Anything you want to say here before we wrap up?
No, thanks for having me on. This was super fun. Hopefully, it was interesting, not boring. I don't know. Yeah, no, it's cool. I've enjoyed the series. I watched the Hell Hades episode. I forgot the question he asked at the end. I was getting nervous there. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see who's on next, and I hope that they have a great time as well. And yeah, thanks for
100%.
doing this series. It's cool.
It's been a blast. And guys, you can find all of Nub Raid socials in the description below, as well as the playlist, which will be pinned above. So you can find out all of the episodes looking forward and looking beforehand as well, and catch up on all of those, right? So have an amazing Christmas and New Year, and we'll see you all in a video soon. Peace.